Good evening. Welcome to this episode number 4 of the tunnel demo coding by Ozzy with me. As you can see, there is Ozzy. Hello, Ozzy. Welcome to the stream. You are muted, I think. Give me a second. Yeah, you are muted.
Yes, I am.
Today, we left Ozzy in episode 3 dreaming of how to do the tunnel moving. And I don't know if you had some other problem, but I remember it was just the tunnel moving, the movement of the tunnel. I think it was the. But today,
Right.
but today, I think he's going to prove us that he is able to do it. But before we start and we go there, let's go to the usual prayer, as I call it. So, guys, all I ask is you go on my YouTube channel. So, all I ask if you that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. As you know, under each YouTube, today I released a new video. Actually, it's Dino Run of the series Let's Make an Amiga Game, and it's episode 2. Under each video, as you can see, there is access to the code of this video. You should be able to get the code to this video if you're interested in learning Amiga coding. The difference between Let's Make an Amiga Volume 1 and Let's Make an Amiga Volume 2 is that Let's Make an Amiga Volume 2 uses the blitter, while so you start learning the blitter basically with this series. While version 1 was still using sprites. May I remind you that on Facebook, I have my Facebook page, which is still my Facebook blog. My blog. I have a website which I'm building. I should have finished it by the end of this year, last year, but I didn't manage. I add too many boeri because of Sam back to the bit. Okay, Hound Dog, don't worry. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I'll have fun in the tunnel. Yeah. So please follow the page. But at the same time, I have a Facebook Phase 101 group and also the Commodore Dev Facebook group, which is my main group, basically, where everything related to Commodore goes. You can send me messages on Facebook. I do read them, but I take my time. In fact, it is not my primary communication method, but Discord is my main method for communication. All the links are up in the upper right-hand corner of my stream, so you can get the links from there. Also, I have Telegram, so you can also get in touch with me on Telegram. Both Telegram and both Discord, I am fast in replying normally. At the same time, and you will see it appearing from time to time in the chat, I have, sorry, not this one here. I have a page that appears with all the links related to my channels. So that is all the links that I have, and web pages that I use. So this link will appear in your in the chat from time to time, and you can. All the links that are up in the upper right-hand corner are also here, basically. If you want to go that extra mile and support us or support me, then you can either use Patreon, which will unlock 272 videos related to development, or you can go to Coffee, and it's the same thing. Some people prefer Coffee, some people prefer Patreon. There's no difference between them when it comes to content, so you get the same thing. One last thing, may I remind you that this week, actually this Sunday, we launched the Retro Tepper Game Jam. You are more than welcome to participate to this jam, game jam. I still need to correct some stuff in it, but the main stuff is there. Basically, you write a Tepper game. You can do it in BASIC. We have code on the Facebook group of retro programmers inside, where we show it is achievable to have Tepper done in BASIC. Of course, do not expect the same quality that you get if you do it in machine code, in assembly, and like the original game that is done for the Commodore 64, for example, in assembly. But it is still doable in BASIC. Just think simple, okay? The main aim is to start doing something and code for our lovely retro machines, okay? So, back to myself. So, without further ado, I pass the microphone, let's say that, to Ozzy, so he can start talking about his adventure, this 1 month adventure that we had since we did the last stream. So there he is, guys, all full screen. You can see him clearly this time, and he can start talking.
Wow.
When you want, Ozzy, you can tell me to switch to the slides, okay?
Right now, I feel like a celebrity. I wanna be on TV.
Let me ask a question. Do you hear Ozzy, the sound of Ozzy? Is his voice? Is he okay? Is he?
Yeah. Check. Sound check. Do you hear me? Do you hear me fine? Do you hear me low? You don't hear me at all?
I think they hear you. It might be a bit low. Okay, yeah. You. Darchil said he can hear you, so it's fine, I guess.
Okay.
Darchil, I started doing something blitz for now. Yeah, it's fine. If you want to participate in the jam, you're more than welcome, Darchil. Blitz Basic is still fine. So no problem. Assembly will be a step up. Yeah, but you know what? With Blitz Basic, you can learn the hardware. Let's say that, because you do need to learn the hardware. And then once you learn the hardware, then you can do assembly. It's a good way of stepping up in a way. So I do not discourage this your method, basically. So yeah, the important thing is that you do something.
Yeah. As I understand, the important thing is that is something coming from you. It's
Yes.
something you did.
Uh,
Doesn't matter in which
yeah.
language.
Yes, exactly. It doesn't matter which language you use, as long as you did something. Even if it looks crap, okay? No, do not worry. Okay, it has nothing to do. The important thing is that you did some code. Do not let others let's say, influence you by maybe they are advanced and you're not. It has nothing to do. Just start, because everybody started from zero, including myself. So there's no shame in starting from the first step. That's mainly it. Ozzy, you can, all in your hands, you can start telling the story of the last, say, month.
Yeah, the last month, as usual, I didn't do anything. That's how it works. It's
So,
a copyright
no, this is
sentence.
the joke, okay? Ozzy always says he didn't do anything. Then you'll see that he did something. It's always the joke.
No,
He never did anything.
this time I didn't do anything because Pellicus did. So
Oh, well. Okay.
everything was done by Pellicus. And again, this is something that I already wrote on Discord. If you see my tunnel source code, it's about, I don't know, 2,000 lines of code,
Uh-huh.
and still I have this feeling that I didn't write this and Pellicus did, because even if he didn't touch my source code at all,
Mm-hmm.
he just gave me the right pointers and the right ads help, the right
Yeah, he
help,
gave you
the right
the
words.
tips, the ideas, not to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
While
the
we are
point.
at it, Cisco, hello Cisco, welcome to the stream, Cisco. We are going to talk about Amiga demo coding. Ozzy is doing, let's sort of a tunnel effect for the Amiga, and he will be explaining what he did for the last month or so.
Yeah.
This is episode 4 of this series, basically. But yeah.
Yeah, as I said, it was something that Pellicus did, because really he's always nice with me, and I think with everything he's
Yeah,
always
he's always.
willing to help everyone. And sometimes I have some, they are not really questions, just consideration. I just said, hey Pellicus, I had this problem and this is my solution. What do you think? And of course he always find a better solution how to solve problems, because uh, you have to think from the Amiga point of view and
Sure.
not from the human point of view. And it's something that you acquire with the experience. You
Yeah.
don't you needed to train a lot in order to find the quickest way for the Amiga to accomplish the work.
Sure.
And what I'm doing right now is even more problematic, I would say, because I'm doing size coding on the Amiga, which is something that, for what my understanding is, that the Amiga is not a very good platform for size coding, at least when it comes to very little programs like 4K programs, because you you have to write and spend a lot some code and so some bytes just to get rid of the OS.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have, for example, you don't have trigonometric function, you have to implement everything on your own, and this leads to more work, and more work probably is more the executable is inflated in some way with some extra code. But still, I saw that there are Amiga competition. Usually, the Amiga competition on the demo parties are divided into two categories. It's just a full-blown demo competition, when you can just use the whole floppy disk or two floppy disks, doesn't matter, or even an archive. Then there is this inter-competition that usually requires you to have an executable of 64K, is the maximum allowed. But I'm going even extreme. I'm trying to do stuff on 4K, which of course it doesn't mean 4K of resolution, it's just the final executable size. There are a lot of tools today that can help you to achieve this. Of course, you can do
When is this
much.
party? When is this party that you were mentioning?
There are some parties that they are not Amiga related. For example, the one which is in Switzerland, I don't remember the name, that where usually they present TIC 80, but
To
it's a
dedicate,
Spanish
yes, the love bite.
Love Bite, yeah.
Yeah,
For
I love
example,
that. I love that party. Yes. So guys, sorry, Ozzy. So guys, first of all, Ozzy, if you have any demo parties that you think others can participate, we will. I will tell Ozzy to post them in Discord. But at the same time, I would like to say hi to Mastabe. Ciao, Mastabe. Welcome to the stream. This is episode 4. I hope you understand English, first of all. But this is episode 4 of Amiga demo coding. And this is the fourth episode related to Ozzy, what he's doing in relation to that. Dark Chill, I will show what you sent me in a minute. I like what you did with Blitz Basic, and for me, it's a good start. So yeah, keep it up. I will show it in a minute because I believe in every one of you. Let's say that the important thing is that you start, and if there's that effort, it needs to be how to say um, shown. It needs to be how to say, to give a prize. It's like give a trophy to somebody that did the start. So yeah, I will show it, and thanks. Yeah, Ozzy, you were saying?
I just want to answer just a little bit to Dart Chilash to his
Yeah.
question. Is there any beginner demo competition or game competition, game jam? And the answer is there is the Phase 1 game jam, of
Yes,
course.
exactly.
This is your first option, according to me, especially if you are into gaming. About demos games, there are these events which are called the demo party. I don't know if you are aware of, and they occur almost every week. And there is a list, a very detailed list on demoparty.net. And then there are not marked as beginner, so there is no specific party for beginner or for experienced programmers. It's just a way to have fun. You can compete in any of these in these demo parties or demo competition. Of course, there are some high-end the competition. With the most famous one is the revision, which usually occurs on April during the Easter period. And of course, you are welcome to submit something also in the revision, but I have to warn you that the competition is fierce. Because
Yeah,
it's like the Champions League or the World Cup of the demo sceners. So
yeah.
expect some competition there. But if you also GERP, it's another very great demo party,
Yeah, GURP,
which
yeah.
is it's always it's very related to Amiga. A lot of Amiga demos. And it's okay. If revision is the World Cup, probably the GERP or GERP is the Champions League. So
Yeah.
it's
It's something
pretty
like
high
that.
standard.
Yeah. So, Darchil, if you want to start uh, game coding, then I suggest you do follow my uh, game jams that I do in with retro programmers inside. The aim is for beginners. It's really for beginners, and there is no shame in whatever you do. We always show what everybody does. There is no prices or things like that. It's just the let's say the proudness of having done something, and then we show it live, whatever you have done. Okay, and that is the thing. It is to show that, hey, you have done something here, so you should be prized for that by showing it. So yeah, I mean, we normally it's a game. We don't do demos. Normally it's always a game jam, but it is for it is literally a mind for beginners. Of course, there are people that are not beginners that participate in it, but there are also beginners. Normally, it's half and half, but we mix them. It's not that we show just the advanced stuff and not the beginner stuff. It's whatever. Yeah. Definitely. Darchil, I suggest you check. I showed it earlier, but I can show it again. I can post the link actually. Let's put it that way. It's better. This is what we do.
Yeah.
It's in English and in Italian. So That, and also Darchill, I have a series which I will be releasing after the one of that I'm releasing now, Dinoran, which is about demo coding. It's for beginners. There's nothing advanced in it, nothing, but it gives you an idea from where to start. So yeah, it's one of those things. Anyway, at the same time, I would like to say hello. There was somebody that said hello to me, which I missed. Mastabe already said hi, and he said, "Ah, okay, you understand English, Mastabe, so perfect." Yeah. Darchil, there is also a group which is on the page. You can, it's in Italian, the group, but you can write in English and they will reply anyway. So do not be afraid of that neither. And also, normally the Facebook group, we use it for the Italian side, let's say that, even though you can write in English. And Discord, my Discord is used for the English side. So this is why the by the way, I'm one of the founders of the group of retro programmers inside, but somehow I kept the English side and they kept the Italian side. Let's put it this way. Because too many things going on. Yeah. If you Ozzy, if you want to add more things, do you have more things? Because I can show the what Darchill did. Yeah.
Just my personal opinion. You said there are no prize in the game jam. Actually, there is one, and which is the biggest, and it's the knowledge.
Yeah, of course.
You enter into a community, and you get a lot of suggestions and tips from also experienced demo coders.
Exactly. Yeah.
And this is, for me, is most valuable than money or something else. So
yeah, good point. Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, that is the thing. The thing that you enter a community and they help you if and yeah, it is no, do not be too sorry. It's good. And it is the thing that you start doing something. So that's the aim of it. Let me show what Darchill did.
Yeah, go on.
Give me a second. Screen. Let me. There it is. Guys, this is what Darchill did. It's still in the initial phases. We had a game jam for this game, which we did it a few months back. So you missed it by a little, but it's literally this game. Anyway, this is what Darchill did, guys. So as you can see, it's a ping pong style game.
It's the Pong.
Yeah, it's the Pong. There you go. So that is what Darchill did. And I think you should be proud, my friend, of what you did. Because it is a start. I always like to, how to say, not just encourage, but I always like to, it's like a prize. It's like a, an honor that you did it. For me, it's you should be proud that you did it. Anyway, so Ozzy, we can start with the stuff. If you tell me that you want to slides, I will go to the slides. If you have more words, I leave you on the screen as you are, and you can continue to talk.
Yeah, just open the first page of this slide.
Okay. Hello, Old School Coder. Old School Coder, we have a new game jam. Yeah.
He can't hear a thing because we are too loud.
No, I think because he clapped, not because of we are not too loud. I think you can hear a thing. Thanks for the subscription, no school coder. Wow, 14 months, my friend. Thank you. And I'm not sure. Sorry, too loud. Is it the sound is too loud? Is it me too loud or is it too loud? Who is loud?
Both, probably.
I don't know because my ear is not showing me that I'm loud. But yeah, it could be. I hear everything.
I, let me say just one thing about the Pong game that we saw before. Even if
Ah,
for unexperienced eyes, it could be a trivial game, and this is something that we already seen a lot of times. Still, it's something that it's not so trivial on the Amiga, because in the Amiga everything is so painful and it requires to have some knowledge of the hardware. So you have to know how to point bit planes, you have to know how to draw things, how to animate them, and then there is some basic math involved. So I would say don't underestimate the efforts that were put into this game, because it's not bad at all, especially if it's a beginner.
yeah,
So yeah, I appreciate this type of effort, because if you try to do this with Unity 3D and in our modern PC, probably you can get away with some hour of coding, and if you are good, even less.
yeah,
But on the Amiga, it's another thing. So
yeah,
and
exactly.
I experienced that on my own life, which, for example, my tunnel, in order to prototype on a PC, I spent really something like 30 minutes, and on the Amiga, months of
Yeah,
work,
yeah,
and still
exactly.
I'm here. So yeah, that's my point.
Yeah, no. You are right. For modern PCs, you're able to do certain things quite easily these days. But if you're trying to do the same thing on an Amiga, that is a different story. And by the way, I lowered my voice, so Ozzy should be a bit higher than me now. Well, I hope he's a bit higher than me. Or maybe I'm not so high. Let's put it this way. But yeah. Um, Yes, in the beginning everything is, but once you get used to it, it is, it will start coming natural. Let's say that. So yeah, uh, to in the initial steps are always a big. It's always a big effort. Um, so yeah, it's understood, and that's why we encourage people to start and do something, because we know uh, through the game jams, we know that the initial start is the most difficult. But yeah, well done, my friend. Well done.
Yeah, keep doing this and show your efforts here. Talking about my tunnel, because otherwise we at midnight we are here already waiting to start. I want just to say something about what I didn't do last month. It was December, and I went to Vienna for work, so not too much. I had 2 weeks of vacation, and the first week I was focused on this problem that I had, which was moving inside the tunnel. And if you will remember, I was stuck in this another big problem that I have. It was the ATAN2 function, the arc tangent. I don't know how to say in English, so it's the tangent -1, so inverse function, which is something that is trivial on modern PC, but again, the Amiga doesn't know anything about sine, cosine, tangent, and you have to provide all the information about this concept. So I was really stuck into this problem because in order to move the tunnel, I had to recalculate everything using this aton function. And I was really struggling. And then I talked again to Pellicus, and he said, wait, you don't have to recalculate everything. You can just use a trick that I will show you later. And so I'm going to explain this. So please turn the page, go to page number 2.
Yeah.
And just a little reminder, the tunnel that you will see is not really a 3D tunnel. It's a 2D texture bitmap, which is mapped into the bit planes. So it's not really a 3D. It's just an effect that you achieve manipulating this image. And that's it. One big plane.
To reply to Dark Chill, yes, I believe you, my friend. It is strange in the beginning. So it does take time. And if you do not know how these things work, it can be really challenging. So that's the that is something that old machines had this challenge of learning how they worked. Not something that you need to bother about in these modern days. So yeah. Ozzy, do you want to show the demo now before we go to the slide?
Yeah, we can start showing the effect.
Okay.
And I remind you that the final executable so far is 3,700 bytes, I think, something like that.
Okay. So let's go to WinUAE and given that I click in the right window, it should start. There you go. Now it is not running on an A500 as you told me. It is running on a 68020.
Okay, but I see it works.
Yeah, no, it works. It works.
I just said please run on a stock 600 because it's where it's tested.
Yeah, but it works.
Yeah, it works fine. It seems 25 FPS, so this is expected. This is exactly what I want to achieve. And this is the effect. And you see that the center of the tunnel is moving continuously and it's wandering through the screen. And I lost literally one week trying to achieve this kind of effect.
Mm-hmm.
And without Pellicus, I would be always here trying to do something instead. Now it's working. So the basic movement and the basic effect is what I had in mind when I started. So right now it comes the fun because I can just figure out something to make it more interesting. For example, change on the fly the texture, or maybe change the colors, or make it faster, or rotate backward. So a lot of things can be done right now because it's real time calculated. It's not something where each frame is stored somewhere in memory and then there is a blitter that just waiting on the bit plane. It's just my code which is drawing the tunnel at real time using, of course, some pre-calculated data, because otherwise it's not possible to achieve this frame rate. But still, this is something that can be used as a base for many other effects.
Sure.
And if you, I don't know if it's possible, you can also turn on the audio, and you should also hear some drum bass sound.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because my audio switched off on the Amiga. Wait.
So you see that there are these squares which are stretched according to the center, and they are just glooming repeatedly. So there is this drum bass sound like toons, 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 and when the Amiga starts playing the sample, it just glows, and that's it. It's just my first try to synchronize a mod file, this is just a mod file, and I want to synchronize what you hear with what you are seeing. So but this will be the topic of next time, hopefully next week. But the goal here was just not to do saying great things. The goal was to have all this data fit in 4K, and this is why I did everything like this. What you are seeing is just a planar tunnel, because the vast majority of tunnels that you see on the Amiga are done with copper chunky or just chunky to planar technique. And in this case, I'm just moving data using the instruction move.w into the bit plane, line by line, and word by word, without using the blitter. I tried to involve the blitter into the drawing, but really I didn't find how to do this. It will speed up things a lot, because here the blitter is doing absolutely nothing. It's all the processor, the 68,000, which is producing the sound and this graphical effect. And as you can see, I'm just using 1-bit plane, so it's just white or black, and it's 1-bit plane. And this is the part, let's say, I think it's the only planar tunnel that I see on the Amiga, and it's quite rare, I think, to see something like this, even if you like it or not, the effect. But it's something that I really had to squeeze and optimize a lot the code in order to have a decent frame rate. At the beginning, it was something like 2 frames per second. Then I started optimizing and optimizing. I then went to 5 frames per second, after that 12, and now I'm 25. Still, there is a lot to do in order to hit full frame rate. I don't think it's possible using this approach, but still, it's something enjoyable according to me. So
sure,
I think it will stay here.
Yeah. So first of all, hello to Pelicus. Hello, Dario. Welcome to the stream. Ozzy was mentioning you a bit earlier for your help. And to answer Darchil, well, even if you're programming the bit planes or the copper, you're always sending jobs to the custom chips. So the blitter is one of them, Darchil. So yeah. I can't remember Stardust right now, but okay, I really can't remember Stardust how it was. So if it reminds you of Stardust, yeah, okay, yeah. So, Ozzy, back to you.
Yeah, back to the PDF, please.
Okay, PDF.
We had enough of tunneling.
Okay.
And so go to the second page, and this is what Pellicus told me. And as soon that I saw this, my mind started to race. So to the left, it was my initial approach. So remember, let's assume that this big black square is the bit plane memory area. I have a pointer which just tells where the the tunnel starts. And this is let's say what I call the transformation table. It's just a map that tells for each pixel of the texture image how to convert into bit plane data. At the beginning, I was doing what you see on the left. I calculated the center of the tunnel, which is marked with C, and for each pixel, I did some calculation. For example, the distance. I start from position 00, and I asked the Amiga, please tell me how much is the distance from the point 00 to the center. Then go to 10 and do the same stuff. To 0 and do the same stuff. And of course, the center was the width of the screen of the whole tunnel divided by 2, and the height divided by 2. And this is my center screen. And if you do this, the center of the tunnel will be put exactly in the middle of the screen. And this is my initial approach. So I told myself, if I want to move the tunnel, if I want to simulate the movement inside the tunnel, I just need to change the C position. I can put the C on the top left, for example, and I get this nice effect. The problem is that, if I change the C position, so the center position, I have to perform the whole recalculation of this transformation table all over again. And in order to compute the distance, it's something that it's trivial on a PC, but for the Amiga, it's a lot to take because you have to do some calculation. So my initial approach was, okay, I will just spend, for each frame, I will just spend part of the raster time in order to calculate a bunch of pixels. And then when the table is complete, I will just render the new image, and this will give the feeling of the movement inside the tunnel. And it was working because I did that. It was working fine, but the problem is it was terribly slow. And again, I was doing this because I'm thinking as a human. I was not thinking from the Amiga point of view. And then Pellicus told me just a word, and this word, with one word, he destroyed all my 1 week work. He said,
Pellicus.
Use an offset.
Uh-huh.
It should, and I said, an offset? Why an offset? And I didn't understand at the beginning. Then I started thinking about it. I said, okay, my initial approach was completely useless because, yes, I can use an offset and have this exact same result just with an addition and into 2 different tables. So instead of doing calculation, I just use to add.w instruction, and that's it. And this is what Pellicus was suggesting me, if I got it right. He told me essentially just double the size of the transformation table in the width and in the height. So it means I will have to invest in chip RAM memory because I need 4 times the chip memory that I was using before. But in exchange, I get so much speed in terms of computation. So what I just multiplied by 4 the area which was allocated for this transformation table. And then I put the center, instead of using width divided by 2 and height divided by 2, I just said the center is width and height. and this will just point to the center of this newly allocated area. And using this technique, I have the tunnel PTR. It just points to the middle of the first memory area, so the first quadrant on the upper left. And using offsets, I can move freely without calculating anything. I'm just changing the pointer, which is something that it's very, let's say, easily done by the Amiga. So each frame just change the pointer to the tunnel, and you get what you want. And that this is what I did. Let's say, and again, I had to rewrite almost everything that I did, but it was the right approach. At the beginning, I was pretty scared because who know when you start multiplying memory allocation, so you think I will get out of memory pretty soon because you did the expansions or something like that. But this table is quite small because it's 128 words multiplied by 128. So it's not a big deal, actually. It will be a problem if the resolution of the tunnel will be higher. But since the resolution is so low, it's something which is doable. And that's it. So please turn the page.
So I do have a question. So you in your case, you said, in my case, 64 words by 64 words, and then in the other slides you have, in my case, 128 words by 128 words. So what is exactly when you say why the words doubled? What
I'm
exactly
using
doubled?
words. I'm using words because I want the number to be expressed in a 16-bit format.
Yeah.
Just because of this, I want some precision, and so I picked this particular format, and I want a number, so the distance to be stored with a lot of decimals. So it's quite
but
accurate.
why the difference of you were using 64 words and all of a sudden with what Pellicos
And
told
then
you
I
it's
double
128.
it.
Okay. And then the offset, was it in the middle of the screen or in the middle of the middle? You see, you have the square at the middle on the screen, but then you have the tunnel pointer in somewhere in the middle of the screen.
Exactly. Because I'm remapping the pointer. If you use the pointer, if you put the pointer on the upper left of the yellow square, you get the center of the screen on the on the top left.
Okay.
That's the point.
Okay.
And this is why I needed to double. In order, I don't want to go out of bounds. If you don't double, you go out of bounds. So you need at least to double your transformation table.
Sure. Okay. Guys, if you're seeing adverts, I do apologize, but it's not from me doing. It's not my doing. It's Twitch. I cannot control it because I got an alert that there is going to be an advert, but it's not something I activated. My adverts are switched off, but Twitch still forces them. So yeah. Darchill says, while Ozzy is worried about using a couple of K-chip RAM to get better frame rate, we have modern game developers complaining that current generation games consoles are not fast enough for their games, so they make 25 frames per second games and blame modern hardware. Yeah, right. I did not see. Okay, but I got the message, so I do not know. But if you didn't see the message, it's better. But I'm telling you, if you see adverts, they're not coming from my side. They are not activated. So
If you want, I can just tell a story just to let's say go out of topic.
yeah,
Some years ago, I was looking for a job, and I got a job interview in a software house here in Italy.
uh-huh,
I was applying as a CSOP, so mm, no, I'm not a developer, but yeah, I went there and they just show me how they work, and I saw a lot of, let's say, very big machines in terms of processing power, and so
yeah,
they were buying everything on the cloud, a lot of virtual CPU, a lot of virtual resources, and they said they need all this processing power because uh, paying a developer for optimizing their code, it doesn't worth it. So they prefer to invest in more virtual hardware rather than optimizing their code,
yeah,
because
yeah. I
the
believe that.
human costs a lot more than
Yeah, I believe that.
a machine. So they just say, if works, okay, we don't need the optimization. If it's not fast enough, we just add the resources. We can scale vertical or scale horizontally. We don't care, as long as the job is done as quick as we can.
Yeah, I believe that they do these things. I believe it. So we go to the second slide.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Now the text is a bit small here, but I hope you can see it. I cannot make it bigger than it was. You know where you have the arctangent, etc. The font
Yeah.
is maybe a bit small, but yeah, I hope you can all see it, guys.
And this is again one of my worst nightmares that surface again and again and again. And I really I can't get rid of this. So, just a little bit of introduction, if you don't remember. Since the Amiga, the stock Amiga at least, is not able to have this 8 and 2 function, and we don't even have this on the operating system. I think if you want to compute the arctangent, you have to include a library which is called Matthew and Dabas.library, and including a library when you do size coding is kind of cheating, I think. So it's not possible to me to recall this particular library, and it's not even on the kickstart, because if you know, the operating system on the Amiga, it's something weird. The most important part is stored inside a ROM chip inside the Amiga, and all the other libraries are stored in the workbench disk or in the operating system disk. And Matthews and Dabas.library is, you don't find it on the ROM. But even if it's in ROM, I don't know if it's allowed to take advantage of the ROM functions. But anyway, I can't use this 8 and 2 function. So what I did, I just built a table, a simple lookup table. It's a little C program that I did, and it just outputs a table that I can just copy and paste into my code. And of course, a table takes memory. Since I was doubling the width and the height of the transformation table, I had this problem that suddenly I had to double also this 8 and 2 table. And I realized pretty quickly that the Amiga can do this. So I would run out of memory pretty soon. So in order to solve a very simple problem, so getting the angle of the tangent on the Amiga, you have to figure out something. And my approach was the following. First, I got rid of all the even numbers. So, for example, if you want to run 8 and 2 of x2 and y2, what I'm doing, actually, I'm calculating the arctangent of 1, 1 and the arctangent of 3, 3, and then I do the average. So I sum the two values and then I divide by 2. So it's just the average. And so I can compute real time. Of course, this is no sense because I won't have an accurate result, but it's something with an error that I'm accepting to have. Still, it wasn't enough. The table was still big if I want to stay in a 4K executable. So what I did is I used the old trick of the deltas. And probably most of you already know this very trivial trick. And it's about storing the difference between values instead of the real values itself. If you see on the right, there is this platform, which is a website that I use in order to do math calculation, which is called Wolfram Alpha. And I said, please, Wolfram Alpha, draw me the arctan function and just study the interval between minus 128 and 28. And you see that the function is something that it's not noisy in the sense you don't get random values. It's always the points are very close to each other, with the exception of course, if you go with x equals 0, you have some sort of degree of difference.
From 0 to 10, from what I can tell, it's the where it varies, no?
Yeah, but for the most of the time, the values are all very close to each other.
Yes.
So my approach was, okay, I don't store the value itself. I just store their difference. And if you do this, you get a lot of very low values, like 1, 1, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2, something like that. And this helps Shrinkler, which is the compressor that I use. It helps a lot because it can compress a bunch of zeros into a very small piece of data. And I got so a very, very good result. And thanks to this technique, I was able to stay within 4K of a final executable. According to my calculation, I saved something like 200 bytes or maybe more, between 200 and 300 bytes, which is not a lot, but when you work on size like this, every byte matters. So I was very happy to do some extra work in order to store deltas instead of the real number.
What is the reason that you're trying to stay within the 4K limit?
It's just my personal challenge. As
okay.
I said,
not somebody that forced you, or you're trying to enter some
No.
competition and it is the limit. No, okay.
No, usually in demo parties, as I said, they usually have this competition about which they call inter-competition, and they give you the size limit of the executable, which is 64 kilobytes. And this is, let's say, the standard. But there is, for example, the love byte that you mentioned before. This demo party is very focused on the size of the final executable, even if it's not Amiga centric, let's say. And they force you to really shrink a lot. So there are some parties that requires you to if you want to enter in this type of competition, please stay under this 4K. For the Amiga, it's quite rare, to be honest.
Yeah. Darius is saying it's called masochism.
Yeah, masochismo in Italian.
Yeah.
And yeah, because really you are solving a problem which you don't have. Because why spend and have this extra effort to try to build the delta table? And then you also have to add some extra code in order to restore your original data from the deltas. And all of this just to make things simpler to the Shrinkler compression program. So it's a lot of pain, and you get really no benefit. Above all, you need more RAM because you need to inject some extra code for the restoring algorithm. And still, the only reason is because you want to stay with the final executable so slow. So in fact, if you notice when there are big production which stays in 4K, they takes a lot to load. And this is because there is all this decompression stage and then there is this pre-calculation stage, which takes a lot because they generate everything on the fly before starting the real game loop. So yeah, I agree with Dario. It's called masochism. But let's say in my case, it's just a personal challenge because I'm not planning to release this tunnel in any demo competition, even because I don't know if there is some 4K Amiga demo competition out there, to be honest. I know that there is Lovebyte. I don't know if Lovebyte accept Amiga stuff. They usually go with
no,
TKT.
as far as I know, it's TKT, as far as I know.
Yeah, probably they also have the other competition for other platform other than TKT.
Pericus is saying yes, Pericus. So I do not know. I haven't. I'm waiting for the next Love Bite party. So yeah. They also do old school competitions. Okay, so there you go.
Yeah, but
by the way, Pericus is participating in the next Love Bite, as far as I know. So guys, when Pericus, when there is the voting, remember of Pericus, guys. Most of them are ZX Spectrum and C64. I see. Okay. I forgot. I started watching Love Bite since last year, since Pericus, let's say, hooked me to it. Let's say that. And because of that, I got hooked into the TKT also, which I never show on my streams, but I do play with it from time to time. So yeah, it is it's a cool thing. Can I ask one question related to your defined constant byte that you have here for the 1 to 8 quadrant? So each one of them is a byte, but you are representing that value, the difference between the 0.39, I'm understanding, to
no. The table which is reported here on the left, which is on the black background, it's not reporting deltas. And this table is just reporting the table that I'm trying to shrink. And it's there just to make you realize that I omitted the even values. So from y equal 1, we go directly into y equal 3. Just to...
Yeah. Okay, I got you. And what is the value, the right value that you have after the, with the points. Why that is the value of the arctangent that normally you get for such input. Is that
Yeah,
the
this
0
is
point?
my
Huh?
this is my what I want to have. So, for example, the first entry is a byte, which is 100, 0 and 000, and this represents for me the value, which is 0.25.
Okay, I got you now. Okay.
So I'm not storing the integer part. I'm just storing the part of the decimal that I want, because actually it's not really an arctangent here. It's the arctangent divided by pi. So the tangent usually goes from minus pi divided by 2 to pi divided by 2. So my results are divided by pi divided by 2, so I can get any results from 1 and minus 1. I think that's the reason.
Okay, I got you, I think. Yeah.
But the point of this slide is, doesn't matter if you want to have a tangent, a sine, or any other function. What I'm saying here is, if you have a function and you need a lookup table, there is this possibility to shrink it, storing deltas, as soon as the function is not noisy. So in this case,
Sure.
you have a lot of results which are very close to each other. Makes sense to do this technique because you get some benefit. If you want, for example, to represent, I don't know, the random function, of course, this doesn't make sense at all. That's the point of my talk.
Okay, got you. By the way, guys, if you see me turning my face, it's not because I'm not listening. Actually, I'm listening, but I'm checking also Twitch. So yeah. Shall I turn to the next page, Ozzy?
Yeah. Yes, please. Third page.
There you go.
So what I usually do in order to have these delta values is the following. I write a small C program, I compile with GCC, and then I do my usual for loop, and I output to std out because I'm using a Linux machine. I'm just so with printf function, I just write to std out the code that I need to copy and paste into my code. And each time is something which is time consuming because I have to restart from scratch and main and open square, everything like that. So I thought, why don't use my Amiga font editor? And I added this function to the Amiga font editor. There is a special entry dedicated to this. And this page works as follow. You have two text areas. Yes.
I was going to say, is it part of the font editor, or is it? Do you see it in the menu, or you need a special entry to enter it?
No, it's. I think it's already online. I didn't check it, but it should be online. So it's just.
I'm going to check it now because I should have prepared it, to be honest.
Yeah, you can go to the Amiga font
First
editor.
of all, I'm going to paste the link of it in the chat. In the meantime, Pelicos is saying that he's going to enter with 256, 512, and 1K for the TKT demo competitions. So, yeah, good luck, Pelicos, with that. The link that I posted is related to Ozzy editor. It's actually font editor. He calls it font editor, but actually it's a lot of things. It's a font editor, it's a sprite editor, and there's lots of tools in it that help you in I do use this tool quite a bit, and I even mention it in my video stream series when I'm doing game dev, because it does help you in getting the colors, the palette, and stuff like that right, and all these things, and convert, for example, uh, an image to raw and stuff like that. So yeah, it's there or there, and I can see that there is also the delta table calculator. That's what the one that you're referring, right?
Exactly. And
Yeah.
what you see on the PDF, it's just a screenshot of the new
Yeah. It's a
page.
screenshot of it. If you go to the delta stable calculator, you will see it there uh, in the menu of the editor.
Exactly. And I was just explaining how it works, because the biggest problem with my Amiga font editor is that I don't provide instruction how to use this stuff. So
It's true,
yeah,
because I have to ask you when I get stuck. It's true.
exactly, because it's just I did this just for my personal convenience. I didn't thought it would be helpful to third-party persons. So
Yeah, but it is.
yeah. So this page works as follows. You see there are two text areas. The one on the top is what the input area. So it's where I'm expecting you to paste your table, the table that you want to shrink. And in this example, I just pasted my arc tangent table, for example. Then you click generate, which is the button on the top left, and the JavaScript function just scans what you pasted line by line, and it applies a regexp. And the regexp is just checking if you pasted something which is dc.b or dc.w or dc.l, and it tries to read the value that you provided for each line. And of course, you can add comments on the right, and of the regex just ignores what comes after the comment. And then it just represents internally in a variable the number and stores somewhere. Then reads the following line, and it calculates the difference, and it writes on the bottom table the result. So in this example, for example, the first line of the output table, the output text area, is dc.w 128. And this is because the first line on the top is representing this value. The second one is the difference, so it's 75. It's the difference between the second and the first. The 20 is the third line, is the difference with the current values and the before value, so the previous value. And you see that at a certain point, it's just repeating dc.w1, dc.w1, 0, 1, 0, 1, and it goes a lot like this. And this is very healthy for the shrinkler. Shrinkler is able to compress all of this data a lot. Instead, if you just try to compress the table which is passed on the top text area, Shrinkler will struggle a lot, because it's just random data for his point of view. So that's the point. This time I also tried to write a small sentence on the top of the web page, trying to explain how to use this tool and what is meant for. Hopefully it will be clear for someone. So, but yes.
Yeah, I
as
saw it. I
said,
was going to tell you this is you edit help at the top of the screen, while normally you don't do that. So this page, the delta table calculator, has got some help on it, which it's a good idea how you did it. It's better like this than nothing. So yeah.
yeah,
Either at the top, or you can do it at the bottom under the screen. So it depends what you prefer. But yeah, it's good, as good as it is. I think good idea.
yeah, it's just a start. Of course, it can be improved a lot.
Yeah,
For me,
I said top or bottom because I think maybe sometimes in what you have, it's not always possible to put it on top. You know what I mean? It's better to have it at the bottom. But yeah, it's a good way. It's a good start. Let's put it this way.
yeah, and usually it saves me some time because, as I said, with my old approach, I always had to write a C program from scratch or a Java code from scratch.
Sure.
It's not a big deal, so it's something that can be done quite quickly, I would say. But yeah, I prefer this way. Just a copy and paste. It's really takes seconds in order to have
Sure.
the delta
No,
table.
I agree.
And I didn't find anything online like this, so I was forced to write as usual on my own.
Sure.
And of course, Pellicus will tell me, "Oh, you should use this tool or that tool," because he knows everything about this middleware tool. But I don't. So I first I do a quick Google research, and if I don't find anything, I will just write on my own. And that's it. So next
Next page.
slide.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I did on the next
It's
slide.
adding the offset here. It's the part of the offset.
Yeah, and this is so all this data, all this shrinking, and all this new table, delta table, for what? At the end, you get your newly created your transformation table. So the one that are multiplied by 2, and you have to use it. And you can see here is what I implemented based on the words of Pellicus. You see on line 333 and 335,
Mm-hmm.
you have adda.w. And I'm adding D7, which is the offset that Pellicus was talking about,
Yeah.
to A3, which are my two tables, my two transformation tables that I use in order to generate the tunnel. So as you can see, I just add a number, an offset to an address. I'm just changing a pointer every frame, and this is convenient. It's something that can be. It doesn't require a lot of computational power. How do I generate this number? And again, I use a sign table because I want the movement to be, let's say, smooth. So I want, for example, to follow the sine function. I want to slow down when you reach the border of the screen, and I want you to increase speed when you are about the middle of the screen. So for me, the sine table was perfect. And again, I'm recycling here because I needed the sine table for other purposes. So I already had my sine table. I just recycled that. So what I do here, I'm just reading a particular value from the sine table, and based on the result, I'm just adding an offset for the x and y, and that's it. So this, say, I don't know how many lines are there. It's just what I need, and these lines from Pellicus destroyed a week of work for me. And of course, it can be optimized further, but for me it's good enough to stay here.
Pellicus is laughing for causing you such way.
Yeah, but for what I think, it's not unusual to realize at a certain point that what you did was not on the right path.
Yeah, it's not
you
the first
just
time.
go back and redo what you did, remembering your mistakes.
Yeah. It's and sometimes it's how it is. It happens to me too. So yeah.
Yeah, it can happen, and this is why I'm proceeding so slowly in this tunnel process.
Yeah.
But at least, you can turn the page.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we have the last one.
Yeah. Yes, the last one, and which is also on the font editor of Ozzy, which the link that I sent earlier. You can also find this there. Basically, he wrote another tool, from my understanding.
Yeah, and this is even more useless because it's something that I think every hex editor has.
The binary the Windows calculator does all this, but yeah.
Yeah, you can do it also with Wolfram Alpha, but yes, this is just a mock-up because I have something in mind here. But for example, my problem is that while I was debugging and trying to understand why my tunnel was not working, I often stop my emulator and I start inspecting the memory area, which are supposed to have the data that I want. And of course, you have this bunch of numbers that apparently makes no sense. And it's hard to me to understand every time do my mental conversion from hexadecimal into decimal, because of course I'm a human. I think about in decimal terms.
I see what you did here, so yeah.
So my main problem was, let's say I find a negative number, because when I do 8 and 2 or I use the sign function, usually I have a sign bit. And you know that the Amiga stores negative number as 2 complements. So you get this FFF something, for example, and you know where the integer number, so the unsigned number, but I always struggle to calculate mentally which is the negative number. For example, FF is -1.
I know the feeling.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is trivial because I know by heart that's FF, the word FFFF is -1. But if you would find something else, I usually take a paper, a pencil, and I start doing the 2 complement. That's
really?
Yeah. I use paper and a pen.
I mean, there are tools out there that will tell you, but the way you did it is quick, so I like it.
There are tools, okay, so I don't know these tools because my online converter, they just interpret the number as unsigned in word format at least. So what I did, I said, okay, I will just write my own Amiga number interpreter. You just feed, you see that there are some generated disabled function. My, let's say, goal here is you put your value in whatever form and it will just calculate all the values.
Right now you only have it for hex right now, right? But your intention is to have it for all of them. Yeah, which is good.
And the following step is to add a simple drop-down box in order to select a fixed point number. So, for example, you could say, please, this number is using 8 bits for the integer part, and the sign bit and all the other bits are for the decimal part. Give me the exact number in signed and unsigned format using the decimal form. So this is something that's, I
Handy to
use
have.
Wolf. Yeah, it could be handy, because otherwise I always go to Wolfram Alpha and I start formulating these questions. And sometimes I'm not able to, let's say, use Wolfram Alpha properly. So I like to use my tools, and this is why I started this little page. But don't worry, I didn't forget about your feature request about the sprite editor.
Oh yeah.
About having, I will do it. I promise.
Yeah. So Dart Chill, if you need tools related to the sprite editor or bitmap editing, etc., I suggest to use the Ozzy's tool, the Amiga font editor, which I shared the link earlier, and it should help you in some of the problems that you were talking about in relation to colors and stuff like that, because there are tools in relation to that. And also, if you're designing a sprite, it will show you the combination of the colors and stuff like that. So, yeah, this is one of the pages that you should have handy for your Amiga programming. Let's put it this way. Yeah, it's a good page.
Okay, I think now the slides are over. I just want to give you a preview on what I'm working on right now. And as I previously said, it's about audio, because as you understand, the putting a mod file, a complete mod file, and a mod player inside a 4K production is a lot of pain, because even if you go to modarchive.org and you look for a very basic small tune, it just weighs, I don't know, 10K, and you are already over the threshold just using the mod file. So what I'm researching right now is way to generate samples using code. And again, I got help from Pellicus even in this topic.
Okay, because I think there's somebody else that might help you, which is Proton. I haven't seen him online, but I'm pretty sure Proton is able to give you some or help you with routines which are related to music. Short routines that can play.
Oh yes, if it can help, it will be very
I
appreciated.
haven't seen him normally comes up, but yeah. And by the way, Pellicus. Okay, Pellicus, thanks for being here. He's always saying, having fun destroying Ozzy's ideas. But you help everyone, so you should be credited, Pellicus. So yeah, I mean, it's the same for me. No, when you help me, you help me. So yeah, why not?
I must say that
your help is appreciated, my friend. You know that.
I remember Pellicus told me some time ago about additive synthesis, and he quoted this little program which is called Klang, which is also available on Poet or somewhere on the internet.
I heard about it. Yes.
Yeah, and so I decided to give it a try, and it's not easy to use, but still the sound of the drum bass that you heard and the audience didn't hear, it was generated by Klang.
Uh-huh.
So And
Okay.
I think it's a software by I don't know,
Pellic was just said
Virgil.
by Virgil.
Virgil, yes,
Yeah.
Virgil or Virgil. I don't know how to
Oh,
pronounce it.
yeah, Virgil. I'm not Virgil. Yeah.
Yeah, it was painful and it's not intuitive, and
Ciao,
of
ciao,
course
Pellicos.
you don't get documentation, but this is what is about next week or next time, if I can prepare the slide on time. And that's it. So no more to say.
Sure. Dark Chill, yes, you have ASC Sprite, but ASC Sprite doesn't work with in default, works with 256 colors. For the Amiga, you need a palette depending on what screen mode you are using, or let's say how many biplanes you are using. And the software, the font editor of Ozzy lets you, of course, it doesn't have all the tools and it's not like ASC Sprite, but keep in mind that if you're doing something simple, you do not need the ASC Sprite to get the right colors. But I do use ASC Sprite, so I do agree with you. I'm not saying do not use ASC Sprite. It depends. Certain small things, sometimes you don't need such a tool. That's what I wanted to point out.
Yeah, the selling point of the Amiga font editor is that it's very Amiga centric. You just click on a browser and it gives you back some assembler code that you can copy and paste.
Yeah.
That's very Amiga focused.
Yeah, and the other thing is there's lots of tools in one place. That's reality. That's what it is. It's lots of tools in one place, all Amiga centric, basically. So I'm not biased with Ozzy, but I do use it, and I know how much it helped me till I found it, how much I was struggling. So yeah, and I do have requests to Ozzy from time to time to change something or to enhance something in it. So yeah. Okay, so this is the. I guess you said we are at the end of it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, guys, first of all, I'd like to thank Ozzy. He's always coming to these streams, telling us what he did. Guys, thank you very much, Ozzy. Much appreciated. You always have new things to show us. Things that some of the stuff I learn from you, I have to say, because some of the things I do not go to them, and so I have never thought about them. So it's nice to hear another coder in the Amiga scene and seeing how he solves things. So, guys, thank you very much, and see you in the next stream. Thank you, guys. Bye bye.
Ciao, ciao.